Yeah. What up, YouTube? What up, what up, what up? Right here, I wanted to talk about a few things. All right. This will be relatively short. I have an outline in it, and it's pretty short today. All right. I just finished not too long ago watching the Big Meech documentary, and it's a phenomenal story. It's a crazy story about the Black Mafia family, and it was like a cocaine, drug ring that pretty much dominated the United States. And these two guys, man, Big Meech and Terry, while I am a square, you know what I'm saying, that came from the suburbs and lived in the suburbs throughout my life, what I could say about these brothers that started this ring is the fact that they utilized, selling that to the communities, predominantly in order to finance lucrative careers for Black people. And in that sense, I have to respect it, because a lot of people do not understand that when you are Black in America, you have so much oppression upon you to the point where it is damn near impossible to find a job. Okay? A lot of this situation forces, Black men to go into the streets and find a way to put food on the table. All right? When it comes to drugs are always going to hit the community. People are always going to buy drugs. And if people are going to buy them, in a way, judge me how you want to judge me, but I would rather see my own sell to my own than to see someone else sell to my own in that community. All right. But anyways, they pretty much dominated the game. And during the time that they dominated the game, while there was times where it was hectic, for the most part, it was a non-violent organization. There were some things that went down, but predominantly in comparison to if they did not run that large of a franchise, then the crimes would have been much more. All right, there would have been a lot more bloodshed and what have you pertaining to that type of business, right? So they were pretty professional about their business and organized in how they went about handling their business. All right. Big Meech, Big Meech and Terry, they ended up taking a plea deal. All right, when they were indicted and they had to go to court, they ended up taking a plea deal, and they were sentenced to 30 years. And just to show you, when Italians do this thing, when Italians do it, or other groups do this thing pertaining to selling drugs, and their organizations and their operations, which we know that their operations are, huge, pretty much either on the same scale or even much larger. You know what I'm saying? They generally, when they're flagged down, they generally get 20 years max. All right. But when you're a minority, you're looking at 30 years. You're looking at 30 years. So you look at that differential between the situations. And like I said, when you're white, you can go and get a job. You can. When you're white, you can go and get a job. When you're Black, take for instance me, I got 2 college degrees, like I said, and I'm in this predicament where I'm blacklisted from getting work in the United States. For what cause? I have committed no crimes. All right. I got a couple DUIs. All right. One of those, I was sleeping in my car. I had the key in the ignition. I wasn't going anywhere. I was parked. You know what I'm saying? But you can't have your key in the ignition. So one of them really wasn't what it was. You know what I'm saying? And the other one, I got stopped for driving erratically, but I wasn't. All right, that was a profile, you know what I'm saying? And I had drank earlier in the night, and it had 5 hours had passed, right, since the point in time that I got pulled over. All right, so this is just to say that when you're a minority, you know what I'm saying, you have government agencies in this country keeping tabs on you more so. So this is a plight of, you know, Christ and the oppression that we go through, because we are forced in a predicament where we have no other way to put food on the table. You understand what I'm saying? And the minute you get into that business, you have to become affiliated as in a network. All right. So this is why you see, you know, a lot of these overcrowded prison systems, and they show a lot of minorities in there because we don't have the same opportunities, but it's a lucrative business. So there's a lot of whites who do it. Now, with that being said, look at the differential in time, you know, between if a white person, you know, gets arrested in terms of major drug conglomeracy and organized crime, is the differential is like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? A decade. All right. Their max is at 20 years. So that's, you know, that's not only highway robbery, but that's, you know, that's insane. Okay. Now, one thing that I will say, that when it gets into like, you know, these governments and the police and everything like that, you know, listen, man, there was a section in this documentary where Meech, one of the people in his crew in the documentary said he was going to drop off some dry cleaning or whatever. And so I guess in the documentary, they said that was lingo for, you know, entrepreneur, right? And so this brother got to a location and dropped off the entrepreneur in the back seat of this other dude's car that was going to take the drugs and take it to some other place, right? And allegedly, it was 10 kilos of cocaine that he put in the back seat. Now, all of a sudden, when this dude takes that car and he rounds the corner, mysteriously, there's some type of routine police, you know, check or something like that. Now, this could be of one of two reasons, because before he was driving to that location, that brother was going on the freeway. They said he was speeding and he was going like 80 miles per hour. All right, on the freeway. He was under a wiretap, so they were watching him already. All right. So, you know, he had a tail, and a tail was following him, and he wasn't aware of that. So they revealed that on the documentary. Okay. So maybe at that point, while they're driving and trying to keep up with him, they radioed in as he's rushing through the freeway. They probably radioed in and set up a checkpoint. The issue is the police did not know where he was going exactly, because they did not discuss locations, and that's why they were following him. So, all right. So they couldn't have set up a checkpoint just like that immediately for when that brother dropped off that entrepreneur in the back seat. That would have been completely impossible, right? So when the guy rounds the corner, all right, they seized the 10 kilos, right? And they released him. You know, they pretty much took the drugs, seized the car, and they told him that he could leave, right? So the issue with this situation is this. When it comes to these documentaries and shit like that, I gotta be honest. You know what I'm saying? When they seize these drugs and things like that, is all of that evidence going into that locker room? All right. Now, 10 kilos is what was said on the documentary. All right. In the evidence room, they received 10 kilos to confirm the facts for the documentary. The question is, were there only 10 kilos that were seized in the backseat of that car for that brother to be released without getting detained. And I question that, and it's slight and it's subtle, but I would say no, even though they caused it or said that it was some type of tactic, right? They were trying to create murmurs or get more information through the through the whole organization, right? So they released him without any penalties, right? Meanwhile, I get a DUI for sleeping in my car just because the key's in the ignition, and you know what I'm saying? I have the air conditioner on in my car. The car is not turned all the way on. All right. I had the key in there. In fact, I think it was a radio. You know what I'm saying? And I was just in there. I was reclined back. All right. The car wasn't on. I wasn't going anywhere. I had a flat tire anyway. All right. But this situation, if you got 10 kilos in the backseat of your vehicle, allegedly, right? They seized him because they were trying to get more information concerning this operation, and they let him go. Tell me, in what world does that tactic happen? All right, does something seem a little fishy there? So it had to been more drugs, I presume, in that back seat that was seized than what was recorded in the documentary. That was the first light that was off. The second thing that it triggered my mind to think was about, well, based on the tactic, when I cross-reference things in my life, one thing that I know about them Aryan groups, them motherfuckers love fly fishing. Is that not a fly fishing technique? That sounds like some fly fishing shit than a motherfucker, don't it? They love to fly fish. All right? Let me tell you something, brothers. I've been offered to go fly fishing a couple of times. Let me tell you something. When them white boys ask you if you want to go fishing, all right, do not go. They didn't understand how quick I was. When they asked me, I was thinking in my head, let me not go to jail because I'm that fast. I know that I'm putting you under that boat when we get out on that boat, and you don't know what you fucking with. People underestimate me, man. I'm that quick. The minute you say it, I study words and the weight of words and the sounds that come out of your mouth. I'm liable to cut a smile on your neck right then, and you'll be crying like, why did you do that? And I'll be like, you didn't do it yet, but you were gonna. So don't try me. But that is a fly fishing technique. And look at this in the Bible when it talks about the mighty hunter, minorities, when you're forced into these predicaments and oppression. Look how that cross-references with the Bible when the Bible talks about the mighty hunter, and how is a mighty hunter not relevant to governmental agencies such as the FBI and the CIA. You see how all that connects together along with the KKK? And in that technique and that mentality of thinking, how subtle, and even though they're unaware of the technique that they're using in terms of the stereotypical demographic hobbies that they like to do. You see how I'm able to just take all of that apart right there, and you see KKK, and we have America KKK also. A lot of those brothers and brotherhoods affiliated in them chapters, and then that leaks outside. Is that also the difference between why a brother will get 30 years and a white boy will get 20? You see how all that leaks out? All of it, right? So when you have the Aryan Brotherhood, and a lot of them are on the force also, could they be connected to the drug ring also? That's something to think about. See how all that connects together? That's how naked you are. That's why I said, man, if I did not have my morals and principles and what have you, right? If I ever got into that game, that side of the game, I will fucking raggle everybody in there, because God has blessed my mind. I'm not trying to be prideful, but all the little you see all these little games and traps. Is that not a trap? And it's not America financed with the black market And out of the black market, isn't the market black? And don't we give our money to everyone? Aren't we like Eve? Do we not just love every fucking body? So, like I said, the dichotomy of the mind, some things you just can't fuck with. For me, I've been abstinent. I've been denied many things. To get a date, you need a few dollars. At least to get to that dollar mean. How are people doing it? And in my predicament, wouldn't it change the pathology of my mind to think different? Going out into society and seeing many assets and affiliates of government agencies. And is it not a mystery with wiretapping that they always just have the conversation? They need a lot of warrants or paperwork or whatever to keep it going, allegedly. But do they not have things they do in secret? See, your phone could always be tapped. By the time that it is sprung up in court, they could go back and remove the other evidence that it was tapped the entire time and just place it in a segment that is pertinent. Maybe it is in hindsight bias. Automatically from your communications and your ISP, everything is recorded in terms of your activities. And them FBI are some cold sharks, man. Let me tell you something. I ain't saying that all of them are bad. Not at all. But I'm saying the water is murky in every organization. It's hard to tell angels from demons anymore. The checkerboard just won't do anymore. It's just a gray square. And I'm just a square from the suburbs with gray skin till I put that lotion on. Something to think about. I find those wiretaps highly suspicious. I could say that I haven't committed any crimes, and there were times that I seen a white van with construction logos on it, and I looked up the business and it couldn't be found outside of my house, and it was pointed towards me. And it moved to different locations on the street, so it wasn't defined to a particular house. You see, that would make things quite interesting and stand out, while others would say, well, why did you look? And I would say, why did you change from where you parked at, where in the suburbs there's plenty of space for you to park in the same place, closer to your destination, the house that you're going to? That would make them kind of busted. And they're doing that shit without a warrant. And do they not have audio recording devices also? And could not those devices be pointed at my house? See, when you're black in America, you gotta stay nifty clean around these individuals. Because when something like COVID hits in the country and they spend tons of money on those vaccines and we have natural disasters, here, take one, it's for free, and they try to force it upon you so they get many vaccines out, that's a whole lot of capital. How do you recoup that capital? It's gonna come either in the black market. It's gonna either come in the black market, or it's gonna come in indictments and RICO laws. Haven't we seen a lot of that lately? And how do they just always seem to have the information? And even though I'm innocent, how do I always just seem to fit the description? See, the trap was already set before I got here. There's too many obstacles for him to be blessed and existing. But here I am. Right here before you. They've been looking at me for over a decade. I ain't done nothing. The times I got DUIs, they were in the strangest of places, and people wear plain clothes. And for those of you who are targeted, don't get it twisted. Some of y'all think that they do these things for gift cards, and recently they have commercials about gift cards, and they use the gift cards to buy out of the store, and then at the end of the day they return the product. I'm not going to say former places I work. You could go back and look at the podcast. They work it as they work a job, and not everybody is from the place where you live. I'm talking about on planet Earth. Some live underneath, and some live above our stratosphere. And it's that all-seeing eye in the shape of a UFO. Yes, there are extraterrestrials. I think it's funny that they front about looking out into space. Something's got an eye on you. You think that your internet goes through those little wires, and you don't think in outer space that's a real network? Sentient intelligence and artificial intelligence, that's AI. You think man really is creating all this new technology? More so than where are they getting from? And look how fast our technology comes out. You don't think that the black market finances that? You don't think that the black market finances the world? It's like putting a rug over a couch and trying to hide it. And people want to talk to me about secrets like I'm snitching. And I'm like, how? I don't even have any fucking friends. And nowadays, I don't really want to. And I'm a little squeamish around the girls also, because girls do a lot of talking. People end up with all kinds of business. I ended up with all kinds of accusations. It was innumerable, and all types of assassins lying waiting for me, along with government agents. And I thought it was sweet, because the more eyes that you have on you, as you are a nobody, then if any group moves on you, then every other eye will see. You got several witnesses, so nobody can shit on me. Everybody knows I'm clean. Praise God. Jesus in the cleansing blood. I am able to walk in the light, move through the crowd like Jay-Z, in a room full of vultures, and come out unscathed. People accuse me of things, and they accuse me of things for days, and I'm just so sarcastic. I'm like, yeah, I'll try to work on that. I guess you kind of got me. I marvel so at their stupidity, and if I am graceful, then I correct them. But I just get kind of tired, so sometimes I let them have what they're looking for, because I know in that they will waste a lot of time. Damn. Wait till I start talking about fucking salaries. But I haven't gotten there yet. The first topic I want to hit on next is the medical marijuana cards. I was denied one. I paid for one back in February, and then that shit got approved, and then I was waiting for the doctor to post it up. He didn't do that until it was like 2.5 weeks later. There's a 30-day notice before you can actually, it's like a cutoff. If you don't get it approved within a month, you're not able to do it anymore, even though you paid the money. You got to pay the full price again. So, when I called again and I found out this information, I'm like, well, just give me a new one so I could get that thing rolling. They like, no, we can't do it. You don't think that they running some type of check or have some type of information on you? And what was the stutter in the steps? The approval should only take about 48 hours. I'm not busting out any doctors. I don't really move like that. But I'm saying they fronting on me like I dropped the ball, and that's clearly a scam. And clearly that's some shit that I could use right now. A whole lot of Doja. We know what I'm talking about. So, this is the issue with those things. And then if you get it, it's approved by the state, but federally, then they have another issue to come at you. So maybe that was a victory or a grace of God that it did not happen, knowing that there's so many people looking at me, the hard target that shouldn't be a target at all. And if I am a target and I shouldn't be a target at all, and I don't have any friends either, not even a girlfriend, I go weeks without seeing my family, then you know, if they're doing that to me, then the situation with you is far worse. If you're doing anything crooked right now, I'm warning you ahead of time. Do it before it happens. Start cleaning your house. You see, America is trying to recoup on its expenses. We're kind of struggling in high water. And that's what happens when you deal with Saturn. Saturn is known as the god or the deity that eats his own children. And in England, they call their government Mother. And I found that in a movie called Mile 22. Mother, Mom, 666, alpha numerical. 666, though it's of carbonite, the misappropriation that's popularized is that it's linked to Saturn, and there's a whole lot of pride in that. And we are talking about all of these RICO laws and indictments coming down. Is someone eating their babies? That's a whole lot of cannibalism. Does it link to the Bible when it talked about the serpent in the Garden of Eden? Upon your belly you shall go, and the dust of the field shall be your meat. And I'm comprised of dust. That is your carbonite flesh, which is 666. A lot of people out here doing they thinking they getting caught in the net. That means that you're fish food for the fly fisherman, the mighty hunter. That's a whole lot of schools. Jesus talks about being a fisher of men. Somebody is fishing for food. That almighty, mighty dollar that's written on it, in God we trust, and we say that we're God's country, but it looks hella different. I hope George Washington ain't turning in his grave like these aren't the principles that we started this shit with. This shit is hideous. The devil could come up out of the earth and I would look at him like a New York cop. You got here late, didn't you? I'd be unimpressed because America looks far fucking worse these days. That's what I'm talking about. And for those who are in the streets, I don't really talk about this much. Take a note from The Wire or the BMF. Yeah, there was a snitch, there was a rat. But keep your loyalty, because in those agencies, there's splinters. You see, between the FBI and the CIA and the police officers, they're all going after relatively the same fish, and they fight over their prey. And between them, there's information that they could really share, but they're separated in their divisions, and they're in more so competitions. And in there's a lot of friction. That's a stressful ass job. Look at all those splinters and divisions within those divisions in those government agencies. Maybe you're more precious than gold. So keep your loyalty. Any of you who are out there on the streets, know that your entrepreneur is something that the world relies upon. So when you get taken down, you should feel betrayed, whether you had a rat or not, immediately. Let me get into this a little more steeper. Let's talk about state and fed salaries. Over a decade, police presence watching me. All of these things happening to me, and no one's ever stopped it, but they definitely are aware. That's a lot of time on the payroll just to watch one nigga, man, that's not doing any crime. What about those tax dollars? Where are they going to? Are they to watch you in your own neighborhood as you sleep in your house? I won't mention the eye in the sky either. That's your neighborhood watch. Niggas don't believe me about the shit that I say, and I don't really care either. I'm only gonna tell you once. Quite in fact, ELF does exist. Electromagnetic frequencies that hit the ear. Remember Don Alexis, the Navy Yard shooter. He was hearing voices. And if you pay attention to the artists in the music industry, they complain of this also. It's quite really common. That's just how disassociated and asleep that you are. Listen to the lyrics. People go crazy with all them voices in their head. That's the eye in the sky. The thoughts in your mind, those birds of prey come down that accuse other ones, that's coming from the sky. But I'm not gonna lie, some of those spirits in space are quite hilarious. They crack me up. Sometimes they say funny things. I guess I got a dark sense of humor. Yeah, all that shit is real, but it doesn't matter. Look at nobody say he's crazy anymore. Instead, they look shocked when it's revealed. And why would they look shocked? Instead of just ignoring me, they lean an ear, don't they? That's more of a confession than you'll ever get. There's a whole lot of secrets. I'm just telling y'all niggas, you need to learn how to move different. That's a lot of intelligence. You are naked as fuck as you were in the Garden of Eden, and you're worried about what clothes you rock. That is your covering, not the artifacts of your mind. Yeah. And those in the sky, like I said, are linked to them government agencies like the feds or the CIA also. They could be anywhere. They could look different. They could change how they look. Holographic technology. This is your existential prison. You in a prison, whether you in the system or not. So, you got people following you around. They might not be from the same place that you were born into. And some of them also might be targeted also. So be careful with how you talk and treat other people. Individuals, I should say, because they hate to be called human, because that would make them dusty, but they love to wear flesh though. I got an affliction with draconians. I feel quite bad about it. In fact, every time I see a cute girl, I'm like, damn, oh man, that's a dragon also, ain't it? They're all around. Trust me, a lot of those times, fellas, you don't even know what you're looking at. I ain't even mad. I'm all about diversity. Not like this country and the people inside. I'm America, then a motherfucker. A black man with a fistful of Newports. Not those in your government agencies or strapped down in those politics. And quite frankly, you should feel a lot more sorry for your presidents because they take on a lot more than you think. You don't even know what they have to go through to get into that job. It's something that you wouldn't even have the balls to do, and I won't talk about that. So when I talk about presidents, or when we talk about presidents, I talk about situations and things that they do that I may disagree with, but I can't hate on the individual because you have no idea. It's more of a sacrifice than you fucking think. To be weighed down with a whole lot of accountability and a responsibility with a whole bunch of people who voted for you just to hate on you. Look at how double-minded and psychopathic, schizophrenic we are. Then those who are sensitive to stimuli, who have sensitive ears, we call them schizophrenic. The difference between them and I is I just figured it out, and I could communicate between the different voices and the many thoughts in my head growing up with ADD. But for others, they don't know what to do. They end up losing their rap. So, getting back on topic, state-fed salaries. Okay? We're talking about tax brackets. Yeah, they drive a police car or they drive one of them government marked cars. But if you paid attention to them, as soon as they get off, look at those type of cars that they driving. Even if they common, a lot of times it costs $30K just to get in a new one. That's like an entire annual salary at a very good job. I barely made that ever in my life for 1 year. Because I've always been watched, despite my intelligence. Many hate letters that would call me dumb. And I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'll work on that. And when you get into those tax brackets, and also those who drive those ambulances, and those fire trucks, and those emergency vehicles, be careful how you treat others. You don't know who you're talking to, and if they're hived in deep in the beehive, they might be performing CPR on you, and trust me, they know they shit. EMTs and what have you, they get paid, but they don't get paid as much as you think they do. Neither do police officers. My mother, when she worked for the state, they had to bring their own pen. Something about doing the taxes. They had to bring their own pen. So you know money is tight. Where the fuck is it going to? Now when they leave that place of business, what type of car are they driving? Is it 35K? Is it a 40K car? Do they got that big ass truck that take a whole lot of gas and fit that in to their annual salary and do the math with the monthly payments, breaking it down from that truck and give them grace, a 4 to 5 year span, and see if they're hurting and wonder if they have another income coming into their house, and their wife, you'll find, must have a very good job. So be careful if you fucking with any of mine, and you know I'm talking about my family. I don't know what's going on, but I've been very close with my mother, and I'm not in the knowledges, and something looks kind of different. Everybody's acting real weird. We ain't did nothing, and with the shit that's been done to me, I guarantee you better back off of it, because I'm a dog with a motherfucking bone. And I ain't scared if you a scorpion or if you a fucking Draco. I'm crazy like that. Many people thought they were built like that, and I broke their back like I was banged. And we all know this shit. Watch me run around and I'll tap your face. Did you see it? Don't fuck with me. Hope you get this. I come with this message quickly. It hits your face and then it goes to your brain. But many people hear their words and they don't meditate, calculate, and do the math. If somebody's watching you, make sure you're watching them. Calculate the police, look at the court system, and look how brand new the Encore is. You come into my house looks lived in, but you go into those courts and they look brand new all the fucking time. That's a lot of work between cleaning, and a lot of them are made out of wood. They ain't never seen a termite. Look at how preserved they are. Now, what type of equipment is in those police officers and shit? They got all kind of high-tech shit. How much does one of them guns cost? And how many do they have in there? And is that fitting within the tax bracket that you're filing into the government? How much is going to that police department? You see, it goes two ways, and people will say I'm against my country, but I'm not. But I've been treated a certain type of way, and I'm getting impatient. Watch out for this knife, because I'll tell you something once and not twice. It goes both ways. As a citizen of the United States, I'm under the principle of the Constitution I was raised under, and it was written. I built this country off my back, and we say that in a whisper, so it's more kind of like my country. The first president of this country was black, and the Constitution says, we the people. We the people. In a country that I was once 3/4 a person. And you put me in these positions where I have to finance it, and that still looks like slavery, and you're making money on both sides.
What do you look like on paper? In comparison to me, I'll come out legit. What will you look like? Don't be suspicious when you see me. You better look the other way. I bet not see any of your squad cars in my fucking neighborhood unless it's to give out fucking lollipops to kids. I ain't done nothing. And if you put me in that court, it's gonna get real interesting because I got a lot of shit to say. I've been keeping silent on a lot of shit, but I just won't be treated any type of way. Somebody better make this situation right before it goes left. I don't own any gun. I'm not gonna shoot up any buildings, but I got a lot of information and wisdom that came straight out the Bible. Then I look at the world a little different. You're just as naked as I would be. So let me be clear about that. Maybe even more naked. That's a whole lot of juice in your grocery section. Think twice. It should be a picture of me on your roster. Leave that little nigga alone. He's kind of crazy, but not in the crazy way. He's quite well put together. He'll see right through you. So that's what I mean about police salaries and tax brackets. Oftentimes they start out getting 17 to 18 bucks an hour. What car are you driving? What clothes do you wear on the weekend? A lot of police live in far distant neighborhoods than the precinct that they work in, and that's for a reason. Now, I've been covering for everybody's profession in terms that they do it professionally to cut down on some of this bloodshed. This shit is getting ridiculous when I turn on the news. I don't want to see it. I don't. I'm fucking disappointed. If it's going to be organized, then let it be organized. That means I don't see nothing. I see no evil, and I hear none either. But if you press this wound, then pus gonna come out. If you understand what I'm saying. There's too much pressure in the world right now to be following around a hard-targeted individual that you've been pressing for over a decade. You know that I'm clean. My family is not in question and they should be off the table. This ain't even a topic about them. Watch some of these motherfuckers say, ooh, let's look into them. I guarantee you the ones that already looking will tell you to stop. This is ridiculous and quite pretty ignorant. Being trapped in my house 23 hours a day, my life was shit. And the funny thing is, it wasn't till I got on some type of imaginary house arrest that this shit I realized wasn't quite normal. I thought the shit was normal all along. I really did. I was like, damn, people sure do work hard. Man, that sure is a cool thing. Never got jealous of shit. But when I realized that it's all this foul play and an insurmountable amount of it, then this problem has to be erected. And in terms of keeping secrets, I kept more of them than you learned in your chapters. That's a whole lot of wisdom from God. Watch who you playing before you get played. I like to do things before they happen. We know this shit. I'm quick like that. So loyalties and trust. Out there in the streets, you guys have loyalties and trust. Make sure you push out the rats. Every group's got one of them. A lot of the times it's the one that you trust the most. Start there first and then work yourself outwards. Look for those weak links. Look out for them people who talk too damn much about how hard they are. They're the first to get locked off. That just comes from experience, but a lot of time as money is coming in, people get distracted. Know who your enemies are. Have 3 people that you know in the street that you could call and depend on 1000%. And if you sense anything funny, make sure you disregard your phone. Some of these people can't get off of it. Fucking PNB Rock and his girlfriend and several other famous celebrities got caught up in certain situations due to it and social media. That's why I don't even have one. It's gonna be what it is in that moment in time. I don't carry any weapons, but I can say the Holy Spirit is something. And I've seen people with ill intentions, and I'm just gonna leave it like this. Weird shit do happen. I can advocate that for a fact. Weird things happen. In my life, there's too many things that are mysteries that would be on Unsolved Mysteries that I just can't talk about, if you get what I'm saying. We don't know what happened to Epstein. We don't know. There was a camera there, but we don't know. Trust me, that ain't in any secret circles that I know of. I think it's a mystery. Right up there with the wonders of the world. An individual. Like I told you, when you deal with a real Christian, then a real Christian will tell you that Christianity is a real secret society. We see a lot of supernatural things. We gotta use a lot of discretion. And I've been holding this thing, folding my hands, keeping people secret. I've seen many people, and I know your bone structures, and you change your face and your image, appearance, and I could tell the difference every time. Every time. But I keep my mouth closed. Somebody better get this shit together and get my situation right, because I could point a whole lot of fingers. I'm not under any oaths. I don't know what's going on, but remember what I was saying about my plight and my situation. If you're dealing with me, it'd be wise to back the fuck off. All the way off. Before I tear them doors down and I push these pillars apart and I take us all out like Samson. Because really, I'm a peaceful sociopath. I wouldn't do it to you, but I'm all about that kumbaya, because that's more friends than I ever had. Something to think about. Keep your loyalties. And that goes for everybody, because the Bible says that I can't be biased. But I'm speaking more so to those who are taking those risks, and taking those risks for necessary reasons to put food on the table. And those on the beat also have to put food on their table. But if you get a dirty cop that's like a fallen angel because they playing both sides, there's nothing you could do about it. And there's rats on either side of the fence, and there's a whole lot of vultures. I ain't talking about anybody that's got to do what they got to do, but just make sure you keep your area clean and swept. Loyalty comes first. Bloodshed, that comes very, very last. I'd advise many not to do it because it's already bad out here right now. Real talk. Don't forget the charities when you're blessed in what you do, so that you acknowledge God in some type of way. I don't care if you believe or not. One day we all believe. Don't let it be too late. Let me tell you something. Riggers-B Tiggins put a shiver in the timbers. You won't understand what happens. Life could flash in the blink of an eye. Or not. Now, let's talk about demographics and politics. Concerning the area you live in, connected to your tax bracket and your ways of thinking, your demographics links into your politics. And your politics, oftentimes you're in agreement with your neighbors in your demographic. But that is a little bit different when you go into your offices, whether they are in the streets or in the courtyard. And though you could be standing next to each other, it's not about what you say on the outside, it's about what's happening on the inside. There could be storms brewing between the both of you. Cain and Abel can happen on either side. Know the people you're around and the psychology of their mind. I had friends back in the day that I'm second guessing because I'm thinking back in time, and they would ask always open-ended questions, and they words were like a honeycomb. You just couldn't figure them out exactly. Well, what do you think about that? Well, why is it that way? Well, how do you figure that? Well, why is it that way? And the whole time you're answering like 50 different whys in a row, and they taking down notes because you don't know what they connected to. That's how people get stabbed in the back. Notice who's around you and who's around you, who they talking to also, because they're putting birds in their head. And what do them birds say, and what do them birds do? If the person is not strong enough to come to their own conclusion or do any investigation, which I've seen has gotten sloppy since the 90s. In the 90s, we were more direct. Now we're more passive aggressive. That's a whole lot of confusion. Sometimes you just gotta be direct. And sometimes I won't put up with people's sensitivities because they're so sensitive that you can't ask them what the weather is outside without them getting a Kleenex. That's absolutely ridiculous. I ain't got no issue with anybody. There's so many people and so many damn trigger words that you can't even form a complete sentence without somebody losing their shit. This is absolutely ridiculous in the country of America where we have freedom of speech, but in our mouth we have bondage. Look at my gag reel. Some of y'all will figure that out because it all connects together. The first government is your own mind, and in your own mind, you should be sovereign. You should have free will, but if you don't have free will, then either you have commitments, and if those commitments aren't commitments, then you're either in possession, you're either possessed, or you're in bondage. You understand what I'm saying? So I just know this. I know the truth when people say that they hear voices and people lose their mind, because if you're not quick in your head and you don't meditate and you don't take the time for yourself to organize your thoughts, you're gonna lose all that shit. It's like throwing up a deck of cards. That's how most people's psychology is, completely scatterbrained. Everything's in a hoopla right now. It's like I'm living in The Walking Dead. I don't like to be outside of my house any longer than an hour. I go to the gym and I come straight back home. I got 2 brand new bulbs, headlight bulbs, in my car, and neither one of them will work and come on. And I know my car don't have electrical problems. So that says a lot about the circuitry of this existential prison. A lot of things can be controlled more than what people think. I would be slow to get in those electric cars, those cars that get too smart and they go all digital. Man, we losing all types of self-control. Something to think about. Now, the last thing, hold on, let me see where we at. The last thing I'm gonna talk about is this cryptocurrency situation. All these crypto billionaires and what have you dying and getting locked off. Now, I seen this on a Homeboy's channel. All right, I ain't gonna say no names out of respect because I don't, you know what I'm saying? But he was saying a lot of them are getting locked off. All these cryptocurrency giants, these, you know what I'm saying, millionaires, billionaires, they're dying. You know what I'm saying? Mysteriously. All right, these are young guys, man, and they be having like untimely and unexpected fates. I think that's pretty strange. All right, I either think people are, you know what I'm saying, killing off that image or that identity so they can move a different way and start a different life, which is all right if that's what they're trying to do. Or I think something funny is going on with that. Like I said, a lot of these things pertaining to certain finances are connected to the black market. I ain't saying that they're directly connected. I ain't putting anyone out. I will give grace and say that this is a theory, but at the same time, for somebody that is as simple as me, it ain't that difficult to do the math. The shit look kind of obvious. That's a whole lot of exposure. For right now, people in the secrets and things like that know what's going on, you're safe, because people are somnambulists. They're literally sleepwalking. Their amygdala, when I talk about their amygdala is off, they're fight or flight. If you're walking in a straight line, they just wander, and it's like a shark that only moves according to motion. They'll line up, you know what I'm saying, right on that same pathway that you've been walking on, and they'll run right into you, like a June bug or something. I think that is so weird. I'm not hating on anyone that has vision problems. I had glasses when I was young. I'm really not. I'm not capping. All right? But I'm just saying, this is deeper than a glass issue, because typically if you're going to walk and run into something that is close to you, you're going to avert danger, right? These people be crossing the street and it be cars speeding down the way, and they don't care if they get hit or not. They're not alert at all. They're completely in a snow globe. And I think that is the weirdest shit ever. More than all this other things that I'm talking about going on that's stressful, the thing that stresses me the most are the normies. The normies are the people who walk around in a bubble like everything is completely normal. You are the most obvious of them all. You have no concerns in the matter of this world. That says a lot of things about you, and it says a lot of things about what's going on. It really does. It's loud, that silence, and how you moving absent-minded and stuff like that, just with your head in the clouds. It says more than you think. When you're walking around in this day and time and you don't know what's going on, something is going on with you, or you know a whole fucking lot. Some of these people just be walking around whistling Dixie. They don't got a care in the world. Now I know society itself is art, but a lot of things, a lot of these people are nice as fuck. They really are. They're like, oh hi, how are you doing, friend? Right? They'll talk to you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be an asshole. They're nice as fuck, right? But it's just like, I just want to grab them by the lapels and shake them up, like some type of fucking Vietnam veteran. Hey, don't you know what the fuck is going on outside? They just be looking lost. They just be looking lost. I said I can't be walking around wiry-eyed and grab people by their lapels. Hey, pay attention. Look around. You smack them a few times, because people will be like, I knew he was crazy. I knew he was crazy all along. Look at the normals. If you a targeted individual, I want you to look at all these normal motherfuckers going to the grocery store, whistling Dixie, going there and pick up some fucking Frankfurts or some popcorn or whatever the fuck. I don't know what these motherfuckers is doing. How can you be this normal? There's so many homicides and everything else going on right now. I mean, people are just so distracted. It is insane. My mind is completely blown, right? Now you see why I need to smoke some weed, because I'm tripped out just looking at it. I'm just like, what the hell? What the hell is this? I'm literally sitting here on the sidelines as a target, trying to referee for everybody to get their shit together. I'm trying to help. I really am. You know, again, this is exactly like that scene between Sam and that Captain America brother, when he's handing him and he's telling them, you know what I'm saying? This is the Marvin Gaye Trouble Man soundtrack. I'm literally living that right now. I don't know what the hell is going on right now. You know what I'm saying? I am scared. I'm scared. One day I might snap. I'm not gonna hurt anybody, but I literally just might lose my marbles and just walk outside laughing. You know what I'm saying? Just laugh everywhere I go. I just start laughing, maybe, because I don't know. I can't take reality. I'm not disillusioned or anything, obviously, by the things that I say. But it's just like some of these people, man. I can't take some of y'all. I can't take some of y'all seriously. I literally can't. Like right now, I can't go to Walmart. I can't like that. I can't go, man. Like, I don't know, man. Somehow the paranormal is more normal than the normalcy here. You know what I'm saying? Is there like a switch that we could, you know what I'm saying? Like hypothetically, a switch we could flip where society just kind of turn keys, you know, back to normal? What is this? Am I walking through the fucking movie Dark Tower? For real, 1000%. But I say that with love, peace and love with all to all you. I'm out.